Hi, so as Dan mentioned, I'm Caitlin from Transport Scotland, and I was just going to give a quick high-level view of the Scottish Government and Transport Scotland's Scottish context to the EV charging network. If you wouldn't mind clicking on to the next slide, that would be great. Thank you. So, Transport Scotland have invested over £50 million in developing the Charge Place Scotland network, which currently is the 5th largest public charging network in the UK. So it has over 2,300 charge points, which just so happens to be the second highest number of public charge points after London in the UK, with an average of 54 per 100,000 people of the population. But we're aware right now, as Gary touched upon as well, that we need to have a lot more charge points and a number across the UK as well to help support the uptake of EVs. So to support this, in January, we launched our draft vision for the future of Scotland's EV charging network, which places people and businesses first and outlines the accessible, affordable and reliable public charging network, which is required for our future. At the heart of this vision, there's a commitment to make the EV charging very people-focused, ensuring it offers a high-quality consumer experience that is inclusive and caters for everyone of all needs, irrespective of where they live and their physical ability. So at the same time in January, as this draft vision was published, we also announced a new EV infrastructure fund that will enable £60 million of investment for the UK and Scotland's EV charging network over the next 4 years, anticipating that over half of this investment will come from private sector as well. The aim of the fund is to at least double its size of the EV charging network. As Gary pointed out, it looks like we're going to need a lot more EV chargers, but it's also to ensure that all needs are met, whether irrespective of the people's needs of using the charger, but also geographical region of Scotland, ensuring that no one person or area is left behind in this transition to meet our Mission Zero targets. If you wouldn't mind the next slide as well, please, Lorraine. Thank you. So just to touch upon some of the work that we've done to date. So to take the first steps in trying to create a more inclusive charging system, Transport Scotland and Scottish Enterprise partnered up to fund the CanDo Innovation Challenge. So the challenge is focused on technological innovation to essentially address 2 challenges. So improve accessibility of charge points for disabled drivers, but also increase access to charge points through eliminating bay hogging and blocking of any chargers. So phase 1, it kicked off in 2020. So it funded 7 companies to develop just a feasibility study to look at solving these 2 challenges. And phase 2, which ended just in this year actually, funded 4 of those companies to develop solutions and install them in Scotland. And you'll actually hear from all 4 of those companies today, so I don't want to go into too much detail of that or steal their thunder at all. If you wouldn't mind the next slide, please. So as Gary touched upon, OZEV in partnership with Motability and BSI are developing accessible charge point standards, which are due to be published later this summer. So the BSI guidelines will become a foundation stone for taking this agenda forward, and we look forward to discussing it with stakeholders, partners, companies, and embed these principles and requirements so they become the new normal and the new benchmark for the EV charging infrastructure in Scotland. So we want like I said, the EV charging infrastructure in Scotland to be truly inclusive. So not just the Charge Place Scotland network, but all the chargers out there. So they're built around the EV drivers' needs, not just what policymakers or engineers think the drivers need. So to try and support this, this summer, Transport Scotland will also be kicking off collaboration with Dundee's V&A design team and the Michelin Scotland Innovation Park. So this aim of this work is to have a user-centered design session, which intakes in inclusivity, accessibility, safety will be key themes underpinning this project, and will entail significant end user engagement with stakeholders from all backgrounds to listen to their experience and understand what their needs are for the future of the charging network in Scotland. The outputs of this will build upon the BSI and the Motability work, as well as other good practices and guidelines emerging across the industry. So more detail on this project will also be available in due course, so please keep an eye out for that as well. So as we've all insinuated, having a public charging network that is inclusive and accessible is fundamental to driving the greater EV uptake, which is absolutely necessary. This is why it's one of the core visions of the Scottish Government. We are aware, though, that significant work still needs to be done to actually achieve an all-inclusive charging system So we need all the agents involved in the EV charging sector to rise to this challenge, which extends to the procurers of the charge point hardware, the services, manufacturers, installers, the charge point network operators, everyone to collaborate, work effectively, and innovate together and showcase the magnitude of opportunities in this area.